be awkward, but it'll be fun.
Episode 68, RP Strength, Trifecta. Thank you, guys. Good stuff there. RP app is out now.
Is it out?
Yeah, they had a huge, like a full-size TV, basically like, it was probably a 70-inch TV turned vertical. Yeah, turned vertical, and it looked like a phone, and they had the app on there cool. at the Rogue Invitational. So,
have you got a chance to use it yet?
A little bit. I need to do a better job of it, and actually track that stuff. Now that it's coming out of crunch time, now that we're gonna start training again for the games. We're gonna take probably a couple week or 2 week little reset, and go for it.
Right on.
But should be good. Yeah. We have some questions from the audience. I asked some questions, so let's see. I don't even know where they're at.
What's up, Chase?
We got Chase on here. Yeah, we're not going to interview Chase. Chase has already been interviewed, so he's just going to add to the podcast. I don't even know how to check this stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about. I don't know. We can talk about Rogue Invitational. We can talk about China. We can talk about Iceland. We haven't talked about any of those things.
True.
Rogue Invitational was fun to watch.
It was good from
it was fun to be
from
part
an
of.
operation standpoint. It was incredible. I mean, it was just like the CrossFit Games, if not better. I mean, everything was on time. It was, we knew where we had to be. It was incredible, and the equipment, and then the atmosphere in the inside the arena was awesome.
Right, it
was awesome.
What about this? Is the question I had. What about judging?
Judging was great. Judging was spot on. I think something we're gonna have to figure out is programming, especially for teams. I think they do a really good job of the individual programming was great, but then people who don't do team workouts, it's hard for them to program team workouts. I mean, we didn't do a workout individually, or like we didn't do anything other than the very first workout, the Go Ruck thing. There was nothing over 6 minutes, I think, for us, or 8 minutes. Well, I mean, it was still rotating in and out, so there wasn't a ton of teamwork to be done. That first event when there was a ton of teamwork, the programming, the way it came to how strong your girls were, not how fit your girls were, how strong your girls were. And I mean, the teams that beat us they crushed it. Their girls were strong and super fit, and but it was a little bit biased, I guess, towards the strength, I would say. Right. The first event was good. It was long. All 4 team members were working. There had to be communication. There had to be teamwork. The second event was synchro stuff, but kind of a little bit, you weren't on the same bar, which is fine with me doing deadlifts not on the same bar. That was a decent one. That was at least a team, it was partner workout.
Wish they would have had risers.
Yeah.
Out there for the females since they had individuals.
Yeah, you were like having to
max rep.
That totally changed. That totally changed the workout for me.
Yeah.
I mean.
And then
you never missed though.
And the deadlift was heavy for you guys too. It was heavier than it was for us, percentage wise. Yeah. And then the indoor workout. We screwed up the strategy completely, but the snatch, it ended. The whole workout was how fast you could move. 225 for men and 145 for the ladies. And Chase, that was 95% of your 1 rep max.
Yeah.
So it was
wow. How many times did you do it? I can't remember what the
10.
10.
Yeah.
Man.
And then the next day the erg workout, it was a lot of strategy in it, but it was also very power outputish. It wasn't a ton of fitness. It was just like how well can you move those machines at a high power output. And then what was the next one? The dumbbell snatch, strict handstand push-up. It was supposed to be 80. So one pair did 80 dumbbell snatch. The other people did 40 strict handstand push-ups.
Okay.
And if you finish the 40, which you should, you got to rest while the other people did the 80 snatches. And so the 40 handstand push-ups took 1.5 minutes tops. Right. And so you had 2.5 minutes to rest while the other people did. It was basically 160 dumbbell snatch for time. So, and then the Tug-of-war, everybody knows my opinion on that. So
Tug-of-war was like, from a spectator's perspective, it was fun to watch.
It was great. It should have been an exhibition. It was like, hey, it's not a scored event. It was good.
Too many variables.
Shoes. There was you couldn't wear cleats, but some people got to wear turf shoes, and it's like, where do you draw the line? Why not just make everybody wear it? Because some people didn't have turf shoes, right? And so how are those not cleats? At what point do you say, hey, these are cleats, these aren't cleats? So that was a little frustrating, but it didn't matter at that point. We couldn't have. There's no points really. The point spread was too far. So if it came down to that event for my team making it to the CrossFit Games, I would be pretty upset about it, but it kind of was an exhibition at that point.
Right.
So
it was every one of the events kind of meant something, which was cool. The Legends was fun to watch.
Yeah, Legends was a good time. Yeah.
That was cool
so
to watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then you had the kind of the elite teams that or at least who were going to the games that had the bid already. And then the other heat was there was somebody in it who was fighting for an opportunity. So there was always something that meant something.
Yeah.
Which made it easy to stay tuned into. And
yeah, it was good. But we got some work to do. Got some things to work on. You guys got some work to do to get in. So we're working on what the plan is for that moving forward. But
what's it been like now that you're kind of we're kind of really over and into the change, the CrossFit's change.
Yeah.
There's no off season kind of right now. And what's it like now?
Yeah, it's been a long season already. We tried to qualify back in January, and so we've literally been crushing it since pretty much November. And so it's been some of us are taking like these next 2 weeks to kind of take it easy. You guys still got to kind of train.
Yeah, just keep pushing
it's a little
through.
bit different. So it's been a grind, but we'll be all right. We'll make it work. We got about 2 weeks, and then 1st of June I told Freedom we're going to go back at it. These guys are still kind of grinding and trying to make it work. So it's different, It's what you got to do though. You got to figure out what the there's nothing. We're going to control what we can control,
right?
And do what we can, to make those things work.
Why did you decide to do the one Legends event and then you didn't do any of the rest?
So I was going to do 2 of the Legends events. I didn't want to do the ruck twice. That was just like my knee. I was like, I'm good. Yeah. And then I was going to do Amanda and the biathlon. But then the biathlon, the way the timeline worked, it was so close to that dumbbell snatch one that I literally would have walked off the field into the team and then back in. And so. Katie was cool, and she was like, "Team comes first." So
yeah, that's cool.
It was good.
Well, it was a little bit. It was cool to see all those guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Different places in their life. Some were injured, scaling things or whatever. Yeah. And but it was kind of like
it was fun. Amanda was a lot of fun. It was cool for me too because it was like that was my first event at the CrossFit Games ever.
Right.
And I actually didn't get to I didn't do the workout with any of those guys at the games because I was in the heat before them.
Okay.
So I did the workout and then I actually got to be a fan and watch it from up top. So it was kind of cool to actually be down there and compete with them.
That's awesome.
It was fun. And, all those guys are some of my best friends.
Right.
And so it was cool to hang out with them and see them and, mess with Dan a little bit.
At the end.
At the end, because Dan's sprinting back and forth to the bar and I was like, all right, Dan.
Come on.
I didn't know we were doing this.
It was cool to see him moving, though. After all the surgeries and all the stuff, he looked pretty good.
He looked good, yeah.
Like he's rounded into shape,
He's getting there. He's getting there.
That's cool. I had never seen Mikko Salo before.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard his name, but never seen him
before.
Never seen him
compete, yep.
Who's the other, the big guy? Hackenbrook.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a dude. He's a cool dude.
He seemed like it, It was fun to watch some of that.
He's kind of one of the original shit talkers,
Right. Okay.
There's never been a big, nobody really talks much, but Tommy always kind of jokingly, and he was a football guy, linebacker for Utah, so he was always there just kind of chirping and being Tommy, but it was fun to hang out with those guys. It was a good time.
That's cool. Well, that was a good time. Enjoyed it.
Here we go. Let's go ahead and let's just jump into it.
Just dive in.
It said, what do you think about the CrossFit deleting all their social media?
So I didn't even hear.
Yeah.
So will you explain it?
So I have an inside, and somebody messaged me and was like, "Hey, we just got word that, all social's going down." And so I was like, "What?" And so I checked it out.
Facebook, Instagram, the whole thing.
Facebook, Instagram. I think Twitter's still around. I think.
Okay.
I have no idea why. I don't know what the play is there, what the strategy is on that. As kind of as an affiliate owner, it's kind of like a slap in the, not a slap in the face, but it's, you'd think that they would discuss these things or tell you. There's supposed to be a statement coming out today, but it's kind of like, why not tell us these things before they happen? Like, it's starting to get really frustrating from an affiliate standpoint, not an athlete standpoint. Like, and I struggle and I go back and forth with, hey, it's his, like, Greg owns it and he's the sole owner, and if he wants to burn it down, he can do whatever he wants. He owns it. Yeah. Like, but I also am like, you're affecting a lot of lives here. Mm-hmm. And this whole switch has been, and I'm all for, hey, we need to, there's a lot of problems going on in this country with weight, with health, with nutrition and all that stuff. And I think we have a huge opportunity to impact that and do good things. And but I don't think there's one way to do it. And I think for too long, we probably concentrated on the top 1%, the games athletes and all that. And that's what people saw. And you probably did intimidate a couple people and scared some people away. However, I think we've now swung completely the opposite way, where now we're concentrating. And I don't want to say you're concentrating too much on the sick, because you can never concentrate too much on the sick.
Right.
But I feel like we're showcasing the sick too much. Whereas if I was to go to CrossFit.com back in 2009 when I first did, I would be like, well, not doing that. That's dumb.
Right.
Seeing some of the stuff. So it's like, why don't we have a balance of like, hey, let's show these incredible transformations. Let's show, hey, anybody can do it. My mom can do it. Your grandpa can do it. We want everybody to be healthy, but hey, let's show off what the top limit of this looks like. Like, I mean, you're an affiliate owner, like how many people have come through the door and said, I want to do this because I saw the CrossFit games.
A lot,
right?
Nobody's going to go and see some old guy doing jug deadlifts and be like, I want to be that guy.
Exactly.
But they'll get on there and see you and be like, what do I got to do to look like him?
Right. Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, too, is though, you are going to see some older people or some people that are very, limited in their mobility, limited in their health, limited in everything, that are going to see that website and go, I can do that. I want to do that.
Right.
So I'm completely fine with showing this. We've had we call it life class, longevity and functional efficiency. We've had this class at Mayhem, CrossFit Mayhem, for 4 years now, and it's a super popular class, and it is basically the same people you're seeing in those videos, and it's a super successful. So we do that. We've been doing that. I don't understand why and the problem is it's not being relayed to us. We're seeing some podcasts where Greg's on podcasts and stuff like that, but some of it doesn't make sense. Like it's not like a true, hey, this is why we're doing this. Like this is, it's starting to the communication is very frustrating.
When somebody's livelihood,
all of our my livelihood, is affected by me as an athlete, but also me as an affiliate, because people are like, I don't know what, I don't want to be a part of this because the guy that's running it is kind of like, we don't know what's going on, and I don't know. It's starting to get at first I was super quiet about it, and I was like, let's just kind of see where it goes. And I'm still that way with the games. I don't mind these sanctionals and having to go to these sanctionals and qualifying. It gives us as athletes more opportunities to be out there and compete, and I actually really enjoy that. I do wish there was some type of committee or something that was over the programming, over the you were seeing some of these, and it's tough because I get where also Greg talks about how he wants the sanctionals and stuff to be run like affiliates, right? Where the best affiliate is the one that takes over, the one that succeeds. And so I get that, but man, it's frustrating to look at some of this stuff, and it's hard to sit back and just say, all right, let's see what's happening, or keep see what's going to happen. Because it just keeps snowballing almost at this point. It's just frustrating.
Doing the best you can to communicate, especially when people's lives depend on it, literally. And then this idea of being able to do a good job with putting a vision out there, right? So that at least everybody sort of knows where you're
what's
headed.
going on. Yeah. Right now,
he gets to do what he wants, like what you said, and I respect that.
And like I said, it's his. If he wants to just say, "Hey, we're done. We're shutting this down," I get that. Right. But it's just then say that. What are we doing?
It's like being in the back seat of a car and someone's driving, you got no idea where you're going.
No idea.
It's a little uncomfortable.
I mean, I guess if we really wanted to, we could do unaffiliate, but I don't plan on doing that, and have zero plans of doing that. It's just, because I feel like the CrossFit name has, it should be almost like a badge of honor, but right now it's not. Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't know. I mean, and you as an affiliate owner as well. What do you think? What are some of your thoughts? Because that's the problem, is we're not hearing from affiliate owners. You're hearing from the top, right? And we're not hearing how that really affects us that run affiliates.
Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah. How's it affect you there?
What do your members say? What are
I think they're just as confused as we are. They don't understand why everything's getting deleted, why, they don't. I feel like we had a lot of people that looked forward to regionals and and stuff like that, and now it's taken away. And I love the sanctionals, and I don't know. We don't know where it's going, and
that's what's tough.
The transition is
confusing.
hard.
People are asking, and we don't have questions, and
we'll see how the games is going to go this year, and then we, kind of plan from there. But man, it's just it's frustrating. There's just no communication.
Yeah.
And when we fire half or all of your media department, there isn't really going to be any communication, but there still should be some line of communication instead of
definitely.
This is where the ship's headed. Yeah. This is what we're trying to do. And right now it seems like you never know from day to day what the next thing is going to be.
It's completely different from day to day.
Yeah. So. It's interesting because I'm that person who's kind of in the middle. Like I'm not a CrossFit Games athlete, and I'm not trying to be one.
Right.
But I am the guy trying to get to the class and get fitter.
Right.
And so for me, if you're upset and what's going on at Mayhem is upset, then I'm upset.
Right.
Because that's where I'm going.
Right.
That's where I'm showing up and I'm paying attention to. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on at the at the top
HQ,
of what's going on. But if it's affecting
what's going
my
on,
well-being and what I'm doing for fitness today, it's an issue.
And I don't think really. I mean, it's not affecting day-to-day operations at CrossFit. Like at Mayhem, we're still gonna program what we feel like is gonna get people fit, and we're still gonna try to help people. But your members are when people are coming up to me and asking, "Hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? What it's tough. When I'm like, I don't have the answers. I have zero clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And not that I feel like I deserve or should have some insider information, but man, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like going on 10 years, I feel like I've helped grow the sport and grow the brand of CrossFit, and I've always been a good soldier and done what I was told, and it's frustrating, like to feel like you're just kind of left out there, and we're all left out there, talking to people, talking to other athletes.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be about us at all. Like I'm not saying that, but I feel like we should at least have some type of hey, this is where we're going. Hang on. Like we're good.
Yeah.
So
it's not about getting on and complaining. That's not at all what this is. But it is about
let's have a conversation.
Yeah, let's communicate.
Yeah,
let's do a great job of talking back and forth and communicating. Let's have a forum where we all feel like we can do that.
Right.
And life should be that way.
Right.
Not just this, but life.
Yeah, I agree. And it's tough. I mean, like I said, when one person runs the whole deal, then that's what they want to do. Then that's what they want to do.
Right.
So, that's my spiel on that. Let's see what other questions. I don't know. You guys have anything to add to that? Kristen, you got anything? You kind of quiet on that one.
I mean, I just had a lot of listening to do because I don't own an affiliate or anything.
Right.
But,
yeah, but you as an athlete, you as a CrossFitter, like.
Yeah, I mean, it like Jim was saying, like it's tough because you don't know where you're headed, and there's all these changes that keep happening. But like something drastic happens, and then after the fact, it gets talked about, which is always like kind of scary because like the first thing you think is like, oh, something's wrong or something's like what's happening that's negative here. That's like usually a first thought, I feel like, instead of giving someone a heads up and then being like you said, like we're good, don't worry, that we're doing this for a reason, and the reason being, and then kind of leading through that. But
I know I'm always jabbering about how much I love words,
Yeah.
But I love the word be intentional.
Yeah.
Intentionally communicate with me. Intentionally, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. And that's always, I don't care who you are, for your family or at your job. It's always good when those people are communicating. People who are responsible are talking to you and keeping you in the loop. At least you feel better.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Exactly.
You feel better.
Totally.
I had a couple people ask me why I was wearing a knee brace for the Tug-of-war. That was completely out of just making sure my knee didn't explode while we were, I've had enough problems that I was like, you know what, I'm going to be smart here. I'm going to wear, it was just a Don Joy, actual real titanium knee brace where I didn't want to take a chance. But yeah, there's been multiple questions about that.
I had somebody text me. I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
I got a text. Why does Rich have a knee brace on? I'm like, who are you? And they didn't even respond back. Like, how'd you get my number?
Didn't the Tug-of-war experts tell us that the most common injuries are like biceps and knee?
Biceps and knees. And I was like, okay, I'm going to wear a knee brace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Was there a lot of technique to that? Did somebody talk to you about that?
We had a lady that, it was definitely, there's some type of technique, and
right.
I mean, traction's a huge piece of it.
I was going to say, when you can't even get any traction
when
to start
everybody's
with,
falling
then
down,
technique doesn't really matter at all, I feel like. I don't know, I could be wrong.
One arm trying to pull a ball on the ground. I was like, okay.
Well, there was a couple times watching you where you're short enough that the rope got high.
My technique was terrible, and then I look at myself, I'm like, why am I standing straight up?
Yeah. Well, it was like you couldn't even get a hold of it because the rope would, the levels would change. And
yeah, for sure. Like the one time, the longest pole that we had, we were getting thrown left and right.
That was bad.
Well, this is one that keeps popping up too, and I've kind of been vocal about it with other people when I talked about the Hunter McIntyre thing. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
The invites that to other modalities, I guess, of fitness.
Yeah, like the wild card thing.
Yeah. This I don't really know Hunter at all. He was here at Mayhem with Hinshaw the last couple weeks, and I've seen some of his stuff that's like, let me in, blah blah blah, and it's frustrating from the standpoint that, with the changes this year and having 140, 160 athletes, whatever it's going to be, and some of these, I'm all for having more people at the games if they should be there, but I think that he should have to go through the same qualification that everybody else did. He had the option to do the Open. I'm not sure if he did. I haven't looked, but he didn't finish in the top 20, so you shouldn't make it. He definitely did not win the United States, which I think he is a resident of, and don't think he should be there. There's how many sanctionals he could have went to and won. So he's had the same opportunity as everybody else. I don't think there should be, just because you're a good trash talker and you like to do Spartan races, that you should make the CrossFit Games.
Right.
And this is what he's suggesting.
Apparently Greg is giving him one of the rumor is that he's getting one of these wild card spots. Just pick on him. And the problem is, last year I would have been okay with this because the top 40 athletes would have made him look stupid. Yeah. He would have been exposed. Right. He would have been just completely. He would have gotten dead last. Now with these changes, there's some of these countries that haven't been doing CrossFit as long, and there's only a couple people that were in the Open, so they're not going to be as strong or as fit, and they're going to be at the game. So he's going to beat some of those people, and it's just going to give him more fuel. So for me, that's extremely frustrating.
So sure, he's been given an invitation.
I'm not 100% sure, but that's
I'm kind of blown away here.
Pretty good rumor. But my thing is, you have so many different avenues to qualify. Right. Man up and qualify. If you're so fit, and just because you want to talk trash and do whatever, I don't think it's extremely frustrating. I feel like it degrades the sport and waters down the work that other people have done, just so you can sit here and chirp and act like a fool. Yeah. And you get to go to the CrossFit Games.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
I'm not sure that's just the rumor that I've heard that he's going to get one. There was I didn't watch it, but some interview with Fikowski and him on a podcast with, I think, Arm & Hammer. Wow. And so I just, like I said, a couple years ago, I think that was a good idea. Right? Yeah. It would have made me super angry. Right. Yeah. And I still wouldn't have wanted that to happen, but now it's even more frustrating because it's just kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of like a participation trophy of CrossFit, but it's like, you just say enough mean things or get enough people angry and okay, so here's your invitation.
That's what you guys should do. Just start trash talking.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Throw a big fit.
Instead of going to 3 or 4 different sanctionals, Will Morad, he's been to how many different sanctionals? He worked his way in. Yeah. Guys like that. Mm-hmm. That's the people you want to see at the games. They've worked hard. They've done everything. I don't want to see that crap. It's frustrating.
Well, it undermines the integrity of everything. So now,
completely.
Now the accomplishment isn't getting there is not what it's supposed to be. Yeah. I respect what you just said about Singapore getting a couple athletes in, and they haven't been doing it that long. But I respect that.
But they at least, at least they have somebody that can. It gives them a reason to kind of push hard now. It's like,
and
I can be the champion of Singapore. Yeah. I'm all for that.
We can be ambassadors. It'll grow. It'll encourage health. It'll encourage the method.
But giving somebody, I don't know, a free spot, it's just frustrating.
Where else would we do that in life? Where else?
Nope. Nowhere.
Where was that okay? That's reasonable and doesn't have a standard.
I would actually be more... I would like it better if those wild cards went to somebody at one of these sanctionals. Right. They got second, and they worked hard and put in the work. That's the stuff I want to reward, not being,
they got 2 top 5 finishes at 2 sanctionals. Exactly. Like Dan was saying, the point system.
Exactly, some type of point system.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you talk trash now? If you can't tag CrossFit.
That's true. What are you going to do?
Maybe that's why they shut it down.
I got the talk about going on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'd like to. We haven't trying to connect with Joe on that. He mentioned that he wanted to do it.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There needs to be somebody get on there and really have a really clear perspective about what CrossFit really is.
Yeah.
And
because I feel like most of his conversations with people, the people that he has on there have no idea what CrossFit is. So
no, it's not educated enough to really do it justice.
No.
I heard a podcast, and listen, I love Jason Khalipa.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who it was that was on the podcast. And he was suggesting this, whoever Joe was talking to was suggesting that Jason.
CT Fletcher.
Yeah, CT Fletcher. And that, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a homer here.
Right,
but I'm
right,
like, no,
right.
let's have Rich on there.
Right.
Rich is
I'm
the most accomplished.
Somebody needs to get on there and at least have some type of communication about what CrossFit really is, not about what everybody sees CrossFit as, and that's kind of, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, is what their initial exposure to CrossFit is usually how they formulate what they think CrossFit is, and CrossFit is not the games. Like, let's start there, and I get why we're kind of stepping back from that. Yeah. But let's showcase it. But it's not the games. Yeah. And, it is the community side of it. It is, the people that are getting healthy, the success stories and that type of stuff. But one part of CrossFit, one arm of CrossFit is the CrossFit Games. And so, but I think that's kind of where Joe's coming from, is the injury side of it is, the CrossFit Games, but it's any sport, like you can do MMA, you're going to get hurt. Like fighting MMA, you're going to get hurt. Right. Yep. But, doing kickboxing or whatever for fitness, you're most likely not going to get hurt that bad. So there's differences.
Yeah.
Why we put Royce on the team for independence at the Invitational. JJ was going to have to work a lot, and my cousin, and wasn't going to be able to do a ton of fitness, and so Royce stepped up. And
how'd that go, man? How'd he do?
Royce is a good dude.
Man,
he's funny.
He was a great fit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's got leadership. He's been on a team. He works hard. He's the most ginormous human being ever.
A giant being.
So big. But yeah, he fits in great. He's a good dude. Fun to have around. But I said, that missing piece of the leadership side of it. He was like, he has some experience. He can communicate. You guys, all of you guys have that. But being able to bounce ideas and stuff off of that.
Yeah.
Did he get home in time? Because I know he was his wife.
His wife does not have their baby yet. That was the hard part.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that all worked out too.
Smokes.
How was he on the most fun part of the whole weekend for me at the Invitational was putting together that cart.
Yeah.
How did was it fine for you guys? You guys have any hiccups?
Well, we were kind of really slow the whole time.
Yeah.
But we had it pretty worked out. I feel like it went the way we did in practice, but then my job was to find the little, what was it called, to like hold the
webbing
down.
The webbing. Oh, the strap.
The strap, yeah. And I was like running around, and Royce probably told me like 10 times, he's like, Kristen, you run ahead, you set out the belt or the strap or whatever, and then we'll just roll the cart up, put the things on. And I couldn't find it for the life of me. I looked under like all the things, and then in the end it was under the very last sandbag. So I'm like, oh great, we're already behind. Now we're even further behind.
That's like a military deal.
The best.
That was cool.
I wish we had it on video. So we have this whole plan, like, all right, I'm kind of talking everybody through everything. Tasia's literally the only thing we're letting Tasia do is put the webbing on the poles. So the deal was, all right, we're going to run back. China and Dre are going to separate the clips and the washers and all that and the wheels, get them on their side. I'm going to set out the bars and the axle.
Right.
Tasia, you're just doing your thing.
Right.
And so we get down there, and Dre grabs the long pole and the axle, and he's just standing there. I'm like, Dre, put it down. He's like, okay. And so he puts it down. So then I'm like trying to get everything situated. He just starts throwing things on the, and I'm like, Dre, stop for a second. Look at me. Dre just like completely goes nuts. And then, so the poles had to be, so the where the axle goes through is supposed to go on the bottom. Yeah. Well, Dre completely turns it upside down and starts trying to jam. And I'm like, Dre, I don't know how we got out of there third or whatever we did, because Dre was just like, he just went completely rogue. Like, it was just like, because we practiced it the day before, like 2 or 3 times. Like, I was like, all right, collars. You put the poles on, you put collars on, you put the axles on, you put the wheels or the washers on, you put the wheels on, washers, collars.
Right.
Yeah.
smooth. Like we talked through it, like just because I'm not a huge visualization person. I'm not a huge like tactics person, but I was like, if we can just be smooth, because there's a lot of people out there that are just going to panic and just like completely mess everything up. And that was Dre. And before I'm like, Dre, just stay calm. Like, your deal is, you've got, get the collars, get your washers, get the wheel, get ready.
Right.
And he walks up and he's just like,
that's so
what do I do? It was like in the first Avengers where Bruce Banner picks up the scepter and they're all like, put the scepter down. Like that's what Dre, he was just like, what do I do? It was.
I wish they had a camera on each team so we could go back and watch what we were even doing, because I don't remember. I remember telling Royce, I'm like, don't be afraid to boss us around too much. Like,
how did you guys get through it? I mean, did it go smooth?
No, I mean, not it felt like we were going smooth, but we were way too slow, and we were the second to last, I think, to leave the thing. And then Ramad cut us off, like when we were, because they were over here and we had to get over to there to go around the rig.
Right.
And so like they just barely like sneaked away in front of us.
They use that same cart in the military, special forces, for like leadership and teamwork kind of evaluation.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
We got one. What is senior tilling up this week? A turf garden. We saw that. Ellie still hasn't planted anything, so it's now grass.
Yeah.
It did exactly like I said. What was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago when we talked about this on the podcast? Yeah. And she said, "Yep, I'm gonna plant," and she's not.
There's just we're all a little bit crazy. We are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
for
am,
sure.
For sure.
There's different levels.
But there's like a little with her in the garden thing. It's just a little crazy. It's not going to happen. We all know it's not going to happen.
Come on.
I hate that Senior really kind of hung that out in front of her, but it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It'll be weeds.
Update on your cat car. You got your cat car back, right?
Yeah, the thing's you would never know. Found an upholstery shop here in town, and for under $1,000, it looks brand new.
Nice.
What does your typical food look like while you're competing? Old gummy bear boy?
Yeah.
Gummy bears?
Yeah, you love gummy bears.
I didn't eat many gummy bears this weekend.
Did you not?
I didn't. Before the front squat, I had 2 bananas and 2 grab the golds all day.
Wow.
No gummies.
I fasted the entire time after, like, I was completely fine. Because I thought, I'd have to eat a little bit before some of the events. I was like, screw it. And
you got that dialed in now.
Yeah, it was good. Felt good.
What do you do for diet? What's your...
He's about to start drinking some milk.
I just started. I'm on day 2. I've already got...
There you go. Yeah, we're trying to put some, add some weight to Chase.
Yep.
He PR'd his front squat. 330. Chase chill 335 now instead of chill 365.
Wow.
On Instagram.
Thanks, Royce.
Dude, the thing that I like the most about you, like you are so chill, but like there's this, and you don't ever talk. You don't talk trash, but there's this kind of crazy, reckless motorcycle kind of thing that kind of comes out, and
when
you
competes,
are all in.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah. But there's no discussion about it. It's just all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look over there and there's all kinds of cool intensity, and you're either going to die or it's going to happen.
You're either going to die or you're going to finish the workout.
Right.
It's probably going to finish it. It's just going to be that snatch workout. I was like,
oh gosh.
Everybody was fired up, and it was awesome watching the girl from Bound hit those snatches.
Oh my gosh,
that was cool.
That was one of my favorite parts.
How fired up people got. That was cool.
Yeah.
If anybody knew what his percentage was, they would have been just as fired up about him hitting those, because it was close.
Yeah.
Normally I don't have that much trouble with it, but my shoulders have been hurting.
Right.
So in the warm-up area, I worked up to 205. Didn't touch 225. I didn't want to know if I could do it or not when I went out there. And then got to it and missed it a couple times, and then started getting it.
Yeah.
Missed a couple more.
I knew once you got it, you would just get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And be
But where
fine.
were you at? 145?
Yeah.
Which is not
She was smashing it.
Power snatch.
Yeah, she was smashing
Yeah.
it.
I mean, my PR is 170, so.
Okay.
But I was worried about it, and they were out there. I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But I
gave her a long rest. I did it EMOM style.
That's good.
But knowing how Chase just goes into workouts, I was like, Chase, just like, we're not going to try like extremely hard to just crush these muscle ups. Like, we got to save ourselves for the weight at the end. So I think we did a good job of hustling through, but not. I don't know.
We finished the box
What
jumps,
did you feel?
and I sit down because Ellie and Royce were finishing, and they just finished. So we finished at the same time. I sit on the box. I'm like, I need a second. My judge is like, oh no, you got to go. I'm like,
I just give me
Yeah,
a minute.
the judge
You
was
don't
like, you guys can
understand.
go. And we're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, thanks.
We need a
I'm not
split second
ready.
here.
Yeah, I really wish we would have changed up our strategy on that, because we screwed that up. And I even, right before we walked out, or not before we walked out, about 15 minutes before, I was like, guys, I think we should change this. And they're like, no, I think this is the best strategy. And it was not. So, because basically what happened was me and China finished a minute and a half before, so they're still on the box jumps. And so what we could have done is have Dre and Tasia go first, so they would have been working on the bar, and we might have had to wait a little bit, but we could have moved the bar faster at the end of it.
Yeah.
And so
since that would have ended up
that was the difference in the
coming
workout.
down to.
So.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of, if you look back at that, is that the one strategy move
that was
probably
huge? That was huge, and then on the machines was stupid. We should have changed out a little bit more and just left Dre on the rower. I should have helped out with the bike. I just thought the ski, we just screwed that up too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some big strategy stuff this weekend. We screwed that up, and that's 40 or 50 points right there.
Yeah.
You know, swings either way. You know, like we get points and it takes points away from people. It was huge. So,
what about you guys? Did you have something that stands out strategy-wise where you're like, I wish we wouldn't have done that?
Wish I would have skied a little harder there at the end.
Yeah.
I think, how many calories did you end up skiing?
I want to say like 160, 170, something like that.
I was at 175, I think, when you came over there. We had 25 left.
I was amazed with the paces you guys held the whole time. That was so cool.
A little harder. I feel like we could have done a little better.
Yeah. I mean, not really. Like, I think we pretty much did what we could do. Yeah, I don't know.
Be taller on the...
Yeah.
If you're skiing...
That workout was really disappointing for me.
What's your, like, I don't know if you want to say it because maybe it's top secret, but no, what's your, like, not comfort, but, like, where can you ski at and be all out but still be good?
Oh, it just depends on how many calories it is.
Yeah.
And, like, what else is with back and forth, if I'm doing some sprints, like 20 cals back and forth, like, probably 18 or 19, 17, 18, something like that, 18, 19. But I was at, like... high 13s, low 14s for just 200 calories.
Right.
And I thought that would do it, but we were a couple seconds off.
I was cracking up the other day because I kind of got in on a workout with you guys in the barn.
And
you and Dre were like,
hey,
listen. The ski one, yeah.
Like, we're not going over 1,600.
We've done a lot. Yeah, we were like, and what happens is usually we start one up in each other, and somebody usually starts getting, buried. So, or not one person gets buried. We both end up getting buried. Right. So we were like, let's just, this is going to be for quality. And so it's good.
I thought it was awesome that you guys had to say to each other, all right, hey,
truce.
Let's just not destroy each other.
Yeah, and there was actually a penalty if it went above 16. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And 1,600. 1,600 for me that's like
you got like one. You got one. Like if it creeped up to 16, you're okay. But if it stayed into 16,
you got sucker punched. That's awesome.
So yeah,
but I don't think maybe from a competitive perspective, people out there really understand how much strategy really goes into it.
Yeah,
you really got to
this
think
weekend
about
there was
that.
a lot of strategy in some of the stuff, especially those two workouts and that first workout as well. The mule, it was just like you had to work.
Yeah.
What else had some strat? I mean, the dumbbell
when
snatch
they're that fast,
dumbbell snatch did not have any strategy. It was just kind of there.
Yeah.
But is what it is. So learn a little bit, mostly strategy stuff, to think about more. I think fitness wise, we're just fine. I'm not really worried about from a fitness standpoint. Mm-hmm. I think we're all right. It's the strategy stuff that could be worked on.
It's really weird for me when you do team competition and there's no worm.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, and it's one of, and it is frustrating to watch or boring to watch, I guess. People say, but it's one of the only movements where you can get all four people working, and it punishes people. Mm-hmm. If they're off, or if there's no communication, or if they go on their own or do their own thing. So that is from a team standpoint. Mm-hmm. If you want to have a good, well-rounded team competition, I think there needs to be something, maybe not the worm, something like that though.
Until they find something better, like that's.
Yeah, it is, and I mean it's hard too. Like there's fitness involved with that. So.
100% having just a little. We've all got a chance to kind of play with a little bit. It'll beat you to death.
Yep.
It's absolutely a completely different kind of fitness for sure. Mm-hmm. And you have to work together. And if you don't, it doesn't matter that you're Rich Froning.
No.
It does that you're super fit. But everybody else has got to be doing their job at the same time.
Yeah. Yep. And when it's actually in sync, it's much easier.
Easier, yeah.
From watching,
but you can tell when like a team knows how to work together, and then you go with like a bunch of like people that haven't worked together before, and it's like you already thought it was a struggle before, it's like even more of a struggle because it's like any little bit, you know, and you're just getting like
frustrating.
You see it break teams.
Yeah.
Like at the CrossFit Games, you know, you see people arguing and pushing each other, and they don't got it figured out, and it's
people fall apart.
It's a true CrossFit team test. You know, so when I don't see that, I'm like, we need something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
All right, you guys keep going. I'll be back.
Okay.
You heading out?
Yep, I'm heading out.
Taking all your questions that people send in with you. All right.
Let's talk about Chase.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Sounds good.
What's it been like? Because you're family, you're, and I always think this is kind of cool. So you own an affiliate, and then you're also family. So what's it like to kind of have grown up and be around inside of what's going on here at Mayhem? And I know for sure it's like the only one shirt you can wear around here, CrossFit Valley shirt, one shirt you can wear and not get in trouble, you know?
Yep.
What's that been like?
Oh, man. I don't know. I love it. It's a dream. I love being around, working out here. I feel like it's made me a lot better.
Yeah.
I do things that I normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It pushes me. I like getting my butt kicked, so I keep coming back for it.
Right, same.
And then it also helps us in the gym because I've heard our programming for our gym has gotten harder since I've been training here.
Right.
So
that's awesome. That's just all around.
Yeah. Maybe not harder, just better, I
Yeah.
would say. Because I take what I learn here and put it towards our gym. A lot of guys at our gym follow my training too, and they're doing those workouts and they're getting better, and it's just helping us out.
And you have a worm there too, right?
We do have a worm.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Have you let everybody in the gym kind of program some stuff and do some stuff with it? Or?
It's there for anybody that wants to use it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have some guys that work out with me during the day, and we'll jump in. Like if I can't make it to Cookville, we'll do some of the same workouts, just me and 3 other dudes.
Yeah.
But then we also had a team that went to the Mid-Atlantic in the RX division, and they did really well on the team events because they got to practice the worm so much. Every Sunday they were sitting there drilling it, and they were moving it good. They did really well. And then on Saturdays we have our masters guys that come in, and I say masters, they're some older guys in the gym that are just awesome. They come in, they bench press, and they throw the worm together, and they're doing
That's
worm
awesome.
squats. They're killing it.
Yeah. The last couple of Train with Rich, he brought the worm down and let everybody just kind of experience it, and it's amazing to watch what happens. Like,
it is cool.
Yeah. I wish we had a couple more just to maybe throw them in the class, maybe put 6 people on the 4-person one, not go overhead, but do cleans or squats, and let them see how, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
It looks a lot easier than what it is.
Were you guys disappointed when you look at the programming at a sanctional, you don't see the worm? Because I know you guys work so hard at that, and is that disappointing?
I think for Rogue it was, just because having Royce, we did a little bit of worm stuff like one day, and the worm with our team that way felt the best it ever has, and so I was pumped. I was like, all right, here we go. And then
it was a huge letdown in Iceland, though.
Oh,
we're sitting there training, and then found out that there's no worm, and we're like,
we literally had the worm out in the gym in CrossFit Reykjavik, and they tell us, sorry, I didn't see you get that out, but you guys won't be needing that, and we're like, man.
So how was that trip to Iceland? You both were there. I didn't get to go. I was so bummed. It looks like it's an amazing place.
It is.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then you can literally drink water from any faucet, and it tastes better than any bottled water I've ever had.
Wow.
You just keep a shaker with you or a cup of water. Yeah. They say don't buy bottled water.
Yeah. Talk about people just being just incredibly friendly too, especially to Americans who are just like, I'm just here. I'm not, I don't know anything about the country.
Right.
They greet you in Icelandic, and then when you kind of look like confused, like you don't know, like, oh, hey, how's it going?
They start speaking English.
Yeah,
so everybody really spoke English.
They just basically cater to you, and they're still just as friendly. They're not like upset that,
Right.
So I thought that was like amazing.
Right.
That was really cool. Yeah. It was crazy, like just the scenery and the landscape. It's just like volcanic looking rock everywhere, and then once you get more in towards the main city, like it looks normal, but until then it almost looks like you're on like another planet. Like there's not trees, it's kind of like murky, and I guess from what Rory was saying, he's been there a few times, has never seen the sun, and it was sunny every day except one there while we were there, which I guess is just like crazy. someone else that was local there said we saw the sun more when we were there than they saw the entire last summer.
Oh, wow.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, someone said that. So I don't know how true that was, but it was really cool.
Your social media looked like it was cold. I mean, you all had like coats on. And...
It was like 50 degrees at the warmest only, and it's usually pretty windy. That mountain obviously was a lot colder.
Okay.
So a funny story about the mountain.
Was this the run to the Stein?
Yeah, the run to the Stein. But so we flew out of New York at like 9 p.m. technically, and landed at 6 a.m. Iceland time. And from what everyone has said, I haven't done a lot of traveling, but they say you need to go to a gym, you need to work out, and you need to stay up until the locals would fall asleep or whatever.
Okay.
The local time.
This is the strategy.
Okay. So we've already been up since like, when did we fly out? I mean, since 6 a.m. the previous day. And no one really slept on the flight there because it was hot and like it was like really hot on the plane for some reason. So we go to the gym, get a workout in. We're all kind of like on the brink of like, we've already been awake for 24 hours, basically no sleep. Kind of like some of us are getting a little angry. Some of us are getting a little delusional, whatever. We find some food, and then Ellie had a really good idea. She's like, you guys, we should probably go to this mountain and just walk up it and just see what we're in for. And I was like, I don't know. I think we just wait and do another time because I was tired. But everyone else was like, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
So we go to the mountain. We're like, oh, this is cool. Whatever. We'll start walking up. No joke. It took us, like 2 hours to go up and down.
Oh, yeah.
At least. We didn't bring any water, any food. We're basically going on probably like 35 hours without any sleep. Mm-hmm. It was no joke. Like, it was to the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Like, no kidding.
So this is what you ran up the next day.
Yeah, so we got like probably a third of the way up, and we're like, I don't know, do we just go back down? Like, we knew we weren't to the rock or the Stein or whatever. And Chase is like, you know what, if you guys want to go down, like, I think I'm just going to go up to the top. Like, I'm just going to go up there. And we're like, no, okay, we'll go. And oh my gosh, it was no joke. And yeah, so then we're like, holy cow, we're gonna have to run up this thing. But luckily we'll have sleep, we'll have food, all this other stuff. But we were delusional and just like...
We actually went up the hard way. So there's two ways to the top.
Yeah.
Like, there's a hard, short way and a long, they say easier, but I didn't think it was that much easier.
No.
So we went up the hard way in practice, but then during the race, we actually went the easier way.
Yeah.
So this was the first event?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the coolest event I've ever done in CrossFit. Yeah, definitely.
And how did it work? Because you had to do it with partner, right? So
no, it was just individual.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Just.
So it was two of you or just one of you? Or all four of you?
All
four, but we took off at... Did we take
different times? Yeah. So I think like the males went for... It was like 5-minute increments. The males, individual males went first, and I think individual females, then like team males or something like that, and then... team
and
females.
they scored your times or something like that.
Yeah, it was just a total time to the top.
What was the rest of the programming like? What were the other events?
It was a lot of them were kind of shorter, sprinty or type workouts.
So there was no worm. So it was a little more kind of aimed maybe like at individuals more than teams.
Some synchro toes to bar.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I can't even remember.
Oh,
what was
the second event was a max snatch.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And none of us had worked in kilos really, which and that's our own fault. But Ben kind of made us a little cheat sheet of like pounds to kilos.
Right.
And we kind of thought we had it figured out, and then we got out there and everyone kind of just like put on too much weight and didn't succeed at lifting it. So that was a live and learn thing. Whatever it is, what it is. We kind of knew that one wasn't going to be good for us really overall, and we were just going to move on from that.
Right.
Then what was after that? Was it
Did we have a third event that day, or was it just two?
I don't think so.
So day 2, we started with the ski erg row. Yep. Was it the row ski bike?
It was kind of,
relay style?
Okay.
Yeah. 500 meter row. And then once your teammate gets off that, the next person can go into the ski 400?
400 and then 1,000 bike.
1,000 bike.
So we all had to do it.
Wow.
So,
and then what was the other event? The toe to bar handstand walk.
Yep. We also had probably the one that was one of the most team oriented was the one that was like the legless rope climb while you're hanging.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of a complicated mix of like 2 people have to be hanging on a bar while the other person does legless. Each person goes, and then you accumulate so many legless rope climbs staying in the same order, and then you go out and do some sandbag cleans, kind of a small number, and then you do the goblet squats. We're supposed to simulate the worm synchro, but it was only synchro at the top, so it was kind of like not really synchro.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like where you stayed was amazing.
Oh my
So
gosh, it was
whatever
beautiful.
gosh.
Yes. Yeah.
It looks like whatever you ate looked great.
Yeah.
It
It
looked like
was-
there was a
yeah.
bunch of meat. Did you know what it was? Did you go shopping for it? And then was it in English? How did that go? Like, it looked like I saw chicken and pork and
I think the first grocery store we went to, it was more like kind of less English friendly, more like it was just like stuff was in Icelandic, and but you knew what it was. Like, I guess with meat, maybe, I don't know, I didn't buy any, but everything else you kind of could figure out what it was, obviously, like just by what it looks like. But then we found some bigger stores later, and it was like easier to kind of maneuver around and figure out.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because they had translations and stuff.
Did your wife have fun? I mean, was she excited about it as far as just a trip to take to?
Yeah, she had a blast.
That's cool.
Didn't you say after, she's like, this makes me want to travel more,
Yeah,
right?
well, normally when we go out,
cool.
go on vacation, you're kind of looking forward to get back home, getting back in the groove. And like, I was just cool with just going about how we were going.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't in a
Anna
hurry.
stayed light for like 20 hours a day.
Really?
At that point.
Okay.
Maybe a little less than that, but so it's crazy. You wake up, it's light, and it stayed light until like 11 o'clock. And because the timing was 6 hours, was it 6 hours ahead?
I think it was 4 for me, 5 for you. And
Okay.
they were behind.
Behind, yeah.
Okay.
So you felt like it was like you could just stay up forever, but you need to go to bed so you can wake up earlier.
Right.
So
there are so many people that I know that's kind of like their dream, to go to Iceland. That's the one place on the planet that they absolutely want to go to, and I'm glad you guys got to see some too.
I wish we could have explored more. We just had one day, and it was kind of like a half day, and that was the day it was rainy and cold, and so we kind of saw like a few waterfalls, but it would have been cool to like go around like the coast, the whole island, because I think they said it's like the size of Ohio or something. Wow. It's pretty small.
So that could be a place you want to go back to at some point for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right on. Well, what's next? You guys still need to qualify.
Yeah.
So that's kind of up in the air right now about how that's all going to go down. So it's just a bunch of training right now. And
just keep training.
Yeah.
Be in competition mode for a good 5 months or so.
Okay. Well, you got to do
It's
what you got to do.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I'm not used to competing this much.
Yeah.
You know, normally it's like 3 a year, maybe 3 competitions.
Yeah.
We did that in the first 2 months if you include the qualifiers.
Yeah, seriously. But it was really fun, like going to Iceland and starting to like get back into competing again. I thought that was really cool. And then we came back and we did the French throwdown qualifiers. Mm-hmm. And that I thought was actually really good to take us into Rogue too, because I was like, all right, I got uncomfortable. Like when it's an online qualifier, you're pushing past what you normally would.
Right.
You know, you're like getting your heart rate really jacked up and feeling like really crummy in certain workouts. So I thought I was feeling good for Rogue.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge commitment for you. I mean,
it is huge.
You live 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
So you get up here, a couple of days a week?
Yeah,
There's a time change.
Yeah.
You know, so for you to be up here and be training
It's crazy.
It is. You lose an hour, gain an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got to get back up and run classes and get the gym open.
So yesterday, what's today? I lose track of my days.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
I think I coached all day yesterday morning and night, and then today I have the day off.
Right.
And then tomorrow I coach tomorrow night. Saturday we have Murph Monday.
Yeah.
And then depending on our plans coming up, we may be on an airplane. We may be.
Right. Well, what is there? I guess there's where we're sitting right now. There's maybe 3 more opportunities or 4.
Okay, so not this weekend, but next weekend is the Netherlands.
Okay.
And Granite Games.
Okay, at the same time.
Other than that, it's France.
And there's France. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of pressure now.
Yeah. Small amount.
You're fine.
No big deal.
It's going to be fine.
It's fine.
We've been competing so much lately. It's like if we're not competing, I don't know what we're doing. Like, I'm ready to go again.
Exactly.
Well, both of you guys have been regional and games competitors. So how does your bodies feel now compared to the old days? I mean, is there a comparison when you were aiming at regionals before and now, man?
I mean, I've never trained like this before in my life, before coming to Cookeville. So because I had a full-time job and I would only do 1 session a day, and I thought I was ramping up and increasing volume a lot when I would get to regionals time.
Right.
Like before I was on a team ever. So it's much different, but I feel good now. Like I feel really good from Iceland and Rogue and everything. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I can keep holding on, kind of maybe because I can see the light.
Yeah.
But like, trust me, I've had my share of breakdowns where I tell Tasia, I can't do this for another 5 months.
That's so funny. One of the coolest things that anybody's ever said as it relates to showing up in Cookeville and the culture and training that I thought was really profound that you told me was that the idea of not knowing what's going to happen today.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rich goes to the whiteboard and he has ideas about what he's doing, but it's not really been communicated.
Right.
And how that not knowing has caused you to really step it up and mentally grow stronger and really face more adversity. Where before you kind of had your workouts planned out and you knew what you're going to do, and there was some security in that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
And you can kind of like, when you know what you're going to do, like sometimes you tend to think about it too much. But even in that, you're like, oh, I can like worry about it when I want to worry about it. And then when it just gets thrown on the board and you're doing it in 5 minutes, you're like, oh shoot, like I probably just shouldn't worry and just warm up instead. Yeah. It's been super valuable to have that, and just kind of learning to be patient with all kinds of things too is really good.
His volume level is more than what everybody else is going to do, for better or for worse. That's how he does it.
Yeah.
So how do you guys manage? I mean, because you're doing what's happening, but how do you manage that and make sure you recover enough and get the rest you need? And you don't? Is that what you're trying to say? It gets quiet? You don't. You just do the workouts.
I just do it.
Yeah. I mean, some days I wonder if I'm going to make it through whatever workout is supposed to be, but I feel like just trying to sleep and eat enough, and it is really tough. And you think it's a lot of volume, but then you have, multi-year individual games athletes come in and they say, holy cow, you guys do so much volume. And you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm like founded in what I'm thinking here. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah. Isn't it funny?
But it's awesome. I love it. I mean, wouldn't have it any other way.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it is kind of part of the secret sauce at Mayhem.
It is.
Because you're going to outwork people. It is really, we're just going to work really hard, and we're going to get fitter. And
And it pays off because you go to these, like Iceland sanctional.
Yeah.
Wasn't sore at all until we left, the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're used to doing, if we do the mountain run and then a max snatch, it's
an easy day.
That's an easy day.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to psychology, they've really proven that your brain's going to shut down long before your body will. Your brain's going to say, I can't.
Yep.
And your body really can.
Yep.
And so when you're forced into some spaces like that where you understand the difference between hurting and being injured, which is important, we're going to protect against being injured, but you really can go harder and you can do more. And you guys, I know, both proved that in your life. It's something that you've been able to demonstrate.
That goes right along with what I was going to say too. Like sometimes you're just doing 27 rope climbs and then you see you have to do 9 in a workout. You're like, oh, whatever. You're just numb to it. It's like no thing, which I truly appreciate when it comes to competing now. Because you're just like, there's very few things that you worry about. And even then when you worry about them, then when you get through, you're like, why, just like you just said, your mind will give up before your body will. Like, why were you even worrying about it?
Right.
Like, you're totally capable.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's huge. Like I was thinking about the riser thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
They gave the individuals a riser.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw it.
I asked
Why
the
would
lady
that not
too.
be?
Yeah, I asked the lady in the back. I was like, do you think we're gonna have risers or not? I just didn't know whether to warm up, for a higher jump or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, well, they have them out there for individual women. I wouldn't imagine they would take them off the field. And I was like, oh yeah, that's of course the answer I wanted to hear. So I'm like, of course they're not going to. Cool.
Right.
Whatever.
But then you just have to adjust.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't
What's the
go
answer?
well, but it's fine.
Jump higher.
yeah, exactly.
Get up to the bar. And you never did fail.
No.
So
I mean, it just went slow, but
and then we're in wet grass and mud too, so your hands are coming up already slick, and she's doing a max effort jump.
Wow.
I know. There's a lot of times right before I jumped, I just take my hands and whop them as I'm jumping.
I was surprised it wasn't more slippery on the bar, with all the mud and everything that was.
I thought that was a cool workout.
Yeah.
Because usually you'd have pull-ups and other or muscle-ups or something, and shoot a burpee and a pull-up.
Yeah,
that was super cool.
It.
Yeah,
everybody at the gym can do that for the most part. So now you're really testing something that's just kind of mean and dirty.
And it's it was gross too.
Get after it.
And they really stressed your deadlift bar had to move at the same time. So it touches at the same time. You're at the top at the same time.
So it was like synchro on the same bar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's fun watching you guys.
It was fun being out there. It was a really well-run competition too.
Yeah. They did
so
great.
It was really cool to be part of, and they kept saying, we're doing this for you guys as athletes. That's what the Rogue staff kept saying, and that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Rich got up and left. We did 20 minutes.
We did. We've done it.
We brought it home. RP strength.
Yep.
And trifecta.
Trifecta.
I forgot what is this podcast? What?
68.
68.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
That's it. As Rich would say, peace.
Nice.